Battle of the Challengers podcast with Vincent Cloud
and Hardcore Dave.
And this is Champs vs. Stars, episode 7, Sync, Purge, Repeat. And you know what? All I gotta say is don't purge. Don't repeat the Purge either, you know? I've never been a fan of the Purge, first of all. Have you? What good
more of the
comes
fan
from
of the
a
binge
purge?
than the Purge. I like the binge. I just like to consume.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they just get rid of a lot of people at the same time, I was a little confused as the season was going on, because I was like, well, at some point they need to narrow down for the final, and I wasn't sure if they were going to have a longer season. That's kind of just what I was assuming. I'm like, okay, they're just stretching out their season; it'll go on longer. Mm-hmm. But it was like, nope, they're still just having 7 episodes, and we got to that point, and then we're getting rid of all these people.
Yeah,
and we're going for the final right now.
Waste of talent, really. It's so stupid. And again, I'll repeat this: if you're going to have a purge, have it in the very beginning of the season. So naturally, the cream of the crop you'll have at the very end. You don't, because right now I like everybody, basically everybody that's in this episode, and we're gonna lose 6 of them, right? Half.
Yeah,
Something
but
like
let's remember, the only reason you like these people is because they didn't do a purge at the beginning. Because if you would have just gotten rid of a lot of people, we wouldn't have uncovered gems like Justina.
What? No,
you know?
No, I would... Well, okay, yes, you're right. But at the same time, you know what a prolonged purge is? An actual season of eliminations. You know, the cream will rise to the top naturally. And to have a purge at the very end of any season, to me, is just a waste of players, you know?
Well, I think what they should do is just do it like they would do in the old school challenge seasons, where you would have a team of 6 people versus a team of 6 people in the final.
Big teams. That's fine.
That would be awesome. Just have a giant team in the final.
Yeah.
That way, there's I don't know, maybe just MTV doesn't want to shell out that kind of cash.
Oh my God, that might be it. As simple as that. I mean, we've made fun of the fact that MTV is so cheap, you know? Now it doesn't even seem appropriate because they're on all the time now. We're talking about episode 7 of Champs vs. Stars. Meanwhile, on the same night was Vendettas, season 31. And that's a whole nother podcast that we're going to get to as soon as we get through this.
They're just maximizing their profits. They're not being cheap. That's business speak, basically.
Quantity over quality. I'll say that. Right?
I disagree. I think this season's been awesome.
This season? No, this season has. But Dirty 30... I'm still. That was almost like The Force Awakens for me, where I'm like, wow, things are moving and things are exciting, and I think I like what I'm seeing. But after a while, you're like, oh, wait a minute, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dirty 30 lost me with the whole Redemption House.
Redemption houses.
I didn't care for that.
They had 3 purges, right?
What was the season before that? Invasion?
Yes.
I liked the half of the season that the champions were on, but the first half of the season where we didn't know anybody, that stunk. Mm-hmm. Rivals 3 I thought was good. I actually enjoyed Rivals 3.
Oh God, it's hard to remember back. I don't think I did, but whatever.
Really? It was Wes and Bananas, Wes and Nani.
Well, let's just focus on this. I don't like purges. You seem to want to justify it? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm just saying it's better that they do it now than in the beginning of the season.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
All right. But overall,
I would prefer no
Purge.
I think we should have just had a bigger cast in the final.
Thank you very much. And the other thing that I didn't like about this overall is that we have another cliffhanger. That is commonplace now, especially in the main series. Mm-hmm. That I went into Vendetta's episode 1, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a to be continued. It's actually not going to be a cliffhanger by any means. People will just be talking and they're just going to cut. You know what I mean? Very interesting way to run a series where you don't end on anything thrilling at all. You just end. There's no beginning, middle, or end to any of this shit. It's like the Game of Thrones of reality television, right? It's just this long ass fucking story, man. Crazy. Anyways, let's get into this particular season and this episode really quick because we got other shit. We got other fish to fry. And speaking of fish, this is all about swimming, right? So let's start with this. It's called Sink or Swim. There's like 5 obstacles, right? You got to jump in the water. You have to go through like hoops, and then you have to like untangle a string in a chain, something like that. Then you have to swim through some netting. Then you have to swim up and down a couple of things underwater. And then the 5th thing, you have to go 14 feet down, grab a 35-pound cowbell, hook it up to the rope.
Cowbell?
Is it a cowbell?
Kettlebell.
Kettlebell. Cowbell. Ding, ding, ding.
Let's call it a cowbell. It's actually better. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, swim a ways, and then your time is cut short right away. Wes is like, yeah, like this shit's in the bag. But
yeah, because Wes is like he's a, what did he say? He was like a state champion or something?
3-time state champion, something like that, yeah. And when he does perform, it's great in terms of the swimming, Fucking
he's always been dominant at it.
Yeah. But let's go at this chronologically and with Zach and Josh, and we'll just go over what they did and then what they contributed to the episode, if anything, right?
Okay.
All right, so Zach versus Josh. Let's talk about Zach. He was like, hey, man, I'm the biggest dude. Sometimes that's awesome, but if it comes down to certain shit, you just strike up. Now I'm striking out. He is the slowest of the champs. Again, the top guy and the top girl of each team are automatically into the final. And then we're finally going to have like 2 teams versus each other in the end. Meaning they get to choose, right? Whoever they want at the end.
Yeah, but last season we had 2 teams at the end versus each other.
No, we had 3.
There was 3?
Yes. Really? Oh my God, yes. It was Darrell, Cara Maria, what's his name? The NFL player. What the fuck?
Cameron Wembley?
Yes, Cameron Wembley. And then what's her name? She was a blonde. I think she was a track and field star. Lindsay. And then Wes and Camilla.
There was 3. How did they get broken into 3 teams?
I know. It was so fucking stupid. It was like...
That doesn't even make sense to me. How do I never remember that?
I think it was like the first and the second guy were in the finals no matter what or something like that. Or, God damn it, no. They had to pick...
They did like the weird thing with the basketball hoops and the eating food, and then it was like the top 3 on both sides or something.
Yes. No, it came down to Camilla because Camilla was the fastest out of everyone else who didn't get into the final, and then she got to choose whoever. And CT was like, "Hey, choose Wes." And Wes is like, "Yeah, man, fucking choose me and shit." So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is totally different in a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Because we're gonna have, what is it gonna be, 3-on-3 in the final?
Yeah. Which I feel like is so much better. Last season, that just did not make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, it was weird that there was 3 teams. They were kind of, because that's like the conventional season of the challenge, where you end up with 3 teams. But that's like when you have like 3. If there's like from a group of 16 teams at the beginning, you get narrowed down to 3. Not if you have 2 solid teams the entire season. Then usually there's just 2 teams at the end.
Yeah,
that's the way it should be.
Yes. So this is a little bit. Getting back to the basics, even though this is a goddamn purge. I hate this right now. I'm so angry.
So Zach was saying that because of his size, it's a big disadvantage for him. Which I completely agreed with until it was CT's turn, and then you're like, well, shut the fuck up, Zach. Because
shit.
CT is big just like you, and he did a great job. So that Zach's reasoning went out the window there. Sorry.
So Zach does the worst out of the champs dudes. Yet, he is Emily's finalist nominee.
Yep.
Emily, who, spoilers, whatever. Emily, she's the fastest, and then Bananas. And they're just like, Emily's like, I just want Zach in there. Over CT. She's saying the fact that he's in shape that trumps CT's veterans. Like all the years of experience.
Well, his experience and all of his accomplishments. He's won so many finals. He just won. What was it? Invasion.
Yeah.
Right. Where he beat Nelson and he beat Corey in a final. The Young Bucks.
2 Young Bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. He beat them both in a final. CT has done so good for so many years, but Emily doesn't like that because she sees the flabby body of CT.
Yes.
Meanwhile, he's not even fat. He's just a big husky dude. He's not chunky at all. But she looks at Zach and she's like, well, because Emily is a CrossFit chick and she works out all the time and she runs a fitness program.
Yeah.
So when she looks at a person, she's like, well, this guy has lots of muscles. He's going to be better. That's why she likes Zach. Mm-hmm. But Zach can't do the things that CT can do.
No.
CT can eat in those competitions. CT can do puzzles. Mm-hmm. CT can do everything really well. Zach's good at lifting things, and that's it. I'm sorry.
Shit.
I love Zach, but if it comes down to brute strength, then he's your guy. But CT is a well-rounded competitor.
What about stringing along Jenna for years and years in a relationship that is quite poisonous?
Hey,
toxic.
I would argue that the best is yet to come for Zach and Jenna. All right.
All right.
Jenna's on the mend. Zach is gonna help her rehab her foot, and you know what? They might have a future.
Yeah. Cut to a year later. He's like, "Oh, damn it! Sorry, Jenna. I broke your pelvis bone instead."
Whoa.
How
so?
From all the banging, fucking. I don't know. Moving on. Anyways, despite all that, Emily's like, I want Zach in the final. That's crazy to me. But Zach was going against Josh.
Josh did amazing.
He did really good.
He kicked ass.
He's a finalist. Impressed. He was the fastest star dude. Mm-hmm. Starman. Yeah. And he's a finalist. He's going to be there. He wants to put in his alliance member, Kim, despite... I would almost be willing to put in Justina, but Josh is so set. He's should we admire the fact that he's like, no, this is an alliance. I'm going to try and see this through to the very end. Is that admirable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's similar to the Emily thing where Josh wants someone who's super athletic and has a background in competing. Kim Glass does.
Do you agree with him? You would pick Kim over Justina?
If I was him, I would totally pick Kim over Justina simply because they are friends. They have an alliance and they have a rapport together where they're going to be a good match as a team. And Justina, she's really good, but they just don't have that relationship. So there's not that, cohesiveness.
But that would leave Michelle out. You know what I mean? If those two are just gelling with each other and Michelle isn't part of that, she's going to feel left out,
No, Michelle can pull her own weight, though.
Yeah. All right, well, anyways, Josh, he's a finalist. He wants to put in Kim. It comes to a coin toss. We never get to see what the fuck happens. But how do you feel about Josh being in the final for sure?
I'm cool with
Especially since it's over Matt. Because
I kind of assumed he was going to make it to the final the entire way. Because,
the entire way, really?
Yeah, because when you looked at his competition, when it's Matt and Riff Raff.
Riff Raff, no. I wish he could be in the final.
T.O., I just knew that T.O. was going to end up in an elimination and get eliminated. It never actually got that far because he walked out on the show.
It was an elimination of words, right?
Yeah. I assumed that T.O. wasn't going to make it to the end just because... I'm they'll put him in something with a puzzle or something where they're going to have someone try and beat him. Production will try and beat him somehow.
Really? Wow, that's crazy.
Beat him with a war of
Huge loss. But yeah, Josh is in.
So I'm not surprised he's there.
Out of the two, I think Matt's more interesting to me. Josh is just very serious. But he's a good competitor.
Yeah, he's a good competitor. Little to no personality. Matt has a decent personality, or at least he's more entertaining, a little more erratic.
What is he from? The Bachelorette?
I thought he was Wild 'N Out.
Josh.
We're talking about Matt.
Josh.
Oh, Josh.
Because I know.
Yeah,
I
probably.
believe you watched. Do you watch The Bachelorette or The Bachelor? I don't remember what you watched.
I watched like one season like 4 years ago.
Oh.
The year was 2013.
The Bachelor? With one guy and a bunch of chicks, right?
Yeah, The Bachelor is the best because there's one guy and a bunch of chicks.
Yeah.
And as a guy, I would rather watch a bunch of chicks that are hot than watch a bunch of dudes that are just like trying to flex their pecs in front of one chick. Like,
I forgot to mention to the audience that Dave is a full-blown polygamist.
That's true.
That's why he flocks to the Bachelor.
Yeah.
It's like that's how you do it. Multiple wives.
Yeah, my wives have wives. It's great.
It's like you ever watch your two wives scissor each other? Like it's fucking.
There's nothing better. There's nothing about it.
Yeah.
Especially if there's cake in the oven.
Oh God.
I'm talking like literally they're baking you cake.
Oh, okay.
Not a bun in the oven.
Well, they better.
Something different.
Well, they better scissor quietly, otherwise that cake will fall. Correct.
Oh, wow.
All right. Anyways, let's go on. Josh, yeah, you're in the final. Justina and Bananas. First of all, Justina, she does good. In fact, she's always
awesome.
Impressed me. Full of personality.
I keep
drive,
expecting,
heart.
I keep expecting her to somehow like slip up and not do well, but she always does good, no matter what it is.
Yeah. But she doesn't do well enough. She's actually beat by Michelle, but Michelle is trying to fight to bring her into the final with her. If you're Michelle, do you choose Justina over Kim?
I don't have a problem with it because they seem like they're friends and they get along. Like, I feel like they're both kind of just picking people they like. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm getting at. It just seems like both Josh and Michelle are just like, I'm going to take my friend.
Yeah.
Despite all logic. Any possible, they didn't want to discuss it logically, how Bananas and Emily are. You know what I mean? Because they were saying, listen, don't let the dead bod fool you and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's more in shape, puzzles, blah, blah, blah. They're just like, well, I'm bringing my friend, and you're bringing your friend. So we're just going to toss a coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like that there's not much of a difference between Kim and Justina. Like, they've both been awesome.
I'm trying to think of who impressed me more, and they've both impressed me a lot.
I've never seen weakness out of either of them, so I'm like, I don't know why I should be like, oh, this person. Because in the final, if whoever gets in there, one of them might end up having a weakness, but it's not something we've seen yet. So
I've never seen. Well, it's just that Justina has risen to the occasion more often. Kim is steady and strong, but Justina is able to have these weird, like in the soccer thing, she just knew how to play that better. In the swimming thing, she just could swim better. There's just things that she's been better at Kim at. So I just feel like either way, Josh and Michelle, they're just being way too we're not going to listen to a reason. We're just trying to bring up.
If it was me, I would pick Justina just because she has red hair and she's hot. But
that's all.
That's the tiebreaker.
I'm sure she's like. I'm sure if she ever hears this goddamn podcast, she's like, "Thanks, Dave. I am a human being after all."
And she can rap battle a hell of a lot better than Kim can. So she's got that going for her. Yeah. She's a badass bitch.
Oh my God. All right. Anyways, Justina, she's Michelle's finalist nominee. We have no idea who is going to go in. It's up to a goddamn coin toss. Next, versing Justina is Bananas. Slow swimmer. He acknowledges this, right? Yeah. But he's like, what it's going to come down to is the obstacles. And holy shit, is he right? He keeps a calm demeanor. He slowly, wades over to the obstacle and just so calmly just diffuses all bombs. He's just able to cut the right wire and just no sweat at all. Just like that, It was a wonder to behold. It was great. It was great.
And the thing is I disagreed with a lot of what they were saying and what Bananas was saying with, I'm a slow swimmer. He went out there and he was swimming really fucking fast. And him wading through the water, that's actually faster than trying to swim through it. To kind of run through it like that. Like, those were fast and efficient ways to get through it. And you can't say he's a slow swimmer because he got fucking first place. Like, Bananas is trying to downplay himself a little bit. Now, is he as fast as Wes? No. Wes is going to be a lot faster. But Bananas is a faster swimmer than CT, Zach, blah, blah, and blah. You know, the other guys on the team.
Yeah. Well, he ends up, he's going to be an automatic finalist. Mm-hmm. His big nominee is CT. Emily, of course, is rooting for Zach. And I was just like, not even like a slight hint of maybe Wes could be in the talks, in the running. Because honestly, who's better between the Zach and Wes? Wes. Wes is 2-2 in finals, official finals, not including champs versus pros, you know. And Zach, you know, he gets defeated in things that Wes can excel at and just, you know, breeze by. So, but it comes down just to the personal vendetta, no pun intended or whatever. I don't know. That's
Very
not even
intended.
a pun.
It's totally
That's not even a
intended.
pun. It's just on my mind because I'm like, let's talk about that too, man. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, like how it's just like, no, Wes, you're not going to make it because
Bananas is not going to entertain the idea of Wes. And like, I love how Wes was like, "Hey guys, so you know what? I'm going to offer like $5,000 or some dollar amount to both your charities, or $5,000 in Bitcoin, or $5,000 in cash. Like, whatever you guys choose." And Wes tweeted out, he said, if they would have taken that $5,000 in Bitcoin, it would be worth $50,000 today. Because Bitcoin he said that like 6 months ago before Bitcoin took off. Like,
I didn't hear that. Honestly, I didn't hear that.
He's a financial genius. Like, Wes owns his own company, and he's, you know, he owns $1 million company. Like, it's great. But, you know, and he's offering this stuff because he knows that Bananas hates him, and there's no way Bananas is ever gonna allow Wes to kind of advance. If this is the way, like, because Bananas knows that there's no way he can beat Wes in elimination this season because of how it's played out. They've both gotten to the end. So he's going to make sure he doesn't advance because Wes screwed up in his, and he got the rope got. We'll get to that. Yeah. Where it got snagged up, and he beat his time because Wes ended up screwing up in that. Bananas he hates him too much.
It is what it is. It's very, very personal. I was just surprised that even Emily was just kind of subordinate. I figured she would be like, hey, could we at least bring his name up for X amount of reasons? But no, she's like, well, who's left? Zach. So I'm going to vote for Zach because, you know, maybe Emily's just annoyed that she has to work to be this good. CT doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Exactly. CT is like rocking the dad bod. He's like, what, man? Fuck it. I show up. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it's great.
Hey, I'm going to go whoop some ass. You know, that's what Chuck Liddell would do back in the day. He'd drink a beer, step into the cage, and knock a motherfucker out. That's what CT does.
Next is Matt and Emily. Matt, he's like, no, this is going to be terrible. Like, I can't do any of this shit. And I think he was like 10 minutes slower than Josh, you know? This was the end of him. You know, he's not, no talks of any final chances, you know?
Yeah, he was telling the Miz, is like, this is the worst case scenario for me. And I was surprised he was able to swim, because I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, this is just an admission that he doesn't know how to swim, and he's not even going to be able to do it. Like, he did it, kind of. But, like, not at the level we saw from everybody else.
And he's in no talks of the finals at all, like we said. So, basically, this is the end of Matt.
Yeah, and well, he's not in the talks for the finals because of all the weird stuff he's done with his voting. Yeah. Like, he's had alliances, and then he's voted against them, and he kind of jumps around.
Playing both sides. And,
it's been entertaining TV. Yeah. And that's what he wanted, and he got that. But the thing is he's alienated everybody on both sides, and they're just like, no, we don't want you on our side anymore.
So, this is goodbye to Matt. Overall, I liked him there because when he had those moments to shake things up in the house, even though, you know, you're like, you could have made this cooler or whatever. I don't know. He did what he did.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of logic behind it, but he did it because it was something that would shake up the house.
Yeah, and he was successful in all of that. Like, he really did take his opportunities. So
yeah, and he was a good competitor. He can't swim though. But, I was like, I'm just glad he was on the season. He was definitely a worthy addition to the season.
Oh yeah, totally. So he was going against Emily. Emily, she beasted him. She beasted all of the champs.
I don't even remember Emily like swimming it or any of the highlights because I think it was just like they just showed it in like 7 seconds. Like,
it was really good.
Oh, she's doing this. And she was just gone and threw it.
Really good. Yep, automatic finalist. And again, she's just going to be arguing for Zach against Banana's pick for CT. Other than that, I don't have too much to say about her. I'm glad she's in the final. It seems fitting.
I mean, she was the female favorite from the beginning.
Bananas and Emily in the final together. Holy shit. That is huge, right? That is huge. They've ran a final against each other once.
Was it X's one?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they were both in a final together in Rivals 2. They both... No. Emily won. Bananas lost. Not together, but they were just happened to be in the same final.
Okay.
Rivals 2.
Emily and what's her name? Paula?
Paula Dean.
Yeah, Paula Dean. It's a different Paula.
all right. Anyways, Emily in the finals. Awesome.
Yeah,
Next,
I love Emily.
Kim and Tori. Kim first. Kim does all right. I really don't remember too much, but she is definitely Josh's finalist nominee.
I thought you did solid. Like the people, they could either do it or they couldn't.
Yeah, I feel like I would have wrote something bad in my notes if she just was not good, but she was fine, So yeah, she's
just fine, not great.
She was
not awesome.
She was just great. Oh, great, good grief. Anyways, Kim or Justina, we already talked about this shit, right?
Yeah.
Should we move on? Tori, she was going against Tori. Tori, oh man, she did not do so hot. But you know what? She's a finalist, not a true champion. She's a replacement this season. She did what she had to do. She did say like, "Hey, Bananas, do you want to do it with a guy and a girl or two girls?" You know what I'm saying?
That was a great line.
Yeah, I liked it. It was funny.
Yeah. And for the what was the name of that? Dirty 30. Like that final, it was narrated like completely by Tori.
That's right.
And Carmaria, but Tori was so entertaining. Listen to her commentary. And that's what she brought here. She's like, you know what? She wasn't that great of a swimmer. She's funny as hell. She was a great competitor in other aspects, but swimming is not her thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of sucks when somebody you like doesn't do that great.
Oh, again, this is the Purge victim. This is why I don't like purges right here, It's really a goddamn shame, I feel like.
It's a goddamn shame. We lost a lot of good men out there.
Goddamn national tragedy. All right, next, Wes versus Michelle. Wes first. Wes, he like when he's swimming, it looks great.
Like he's like a swan. It's
just
so
smooth, fast, or like Jesus Christ. But when it comes down to unknotting that thing through the cage, that rope through the cage, it just gets stuck, and that is how he is defeated. Because once he actually figures it out, it is beautiful to watch him swim and do everything. You know what I mean? You're like, holy shit. Okay, and I just have to say this. Wes's kryptonite is knots. This cost him the final in this one, in this purge. He got fucked over. Well, he didn't get fucked over, but yeah, he did. Knots in Rivals 3. He was with Nani. It was to get to the final, and he didn't get it. He had to use his teeth to get it loose. It took forever. They ended up going to the elimination and then losing then. Even reaching back to the ruins, when he was fighting against Kahada through they had the ropes and they were climbing through all those poles and shit. He got a knot. He got tangled up.
Oh,
you know
that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just a thing that just doesn't work for him. And I've raised this issue before during Rivals 3 after that happened. I'm like, I don't trust production, not on a bad way where they're like, let's fuck someone over. It's just you could never tell if you have to tie a knot. You never know if you just happen to pull that knot a little bit tighter than you did the other time.
Yeah,
you know
when they're
I mean?
trying to replicate the same thing.
Yes.
For different people, and then one person goes up to do it, and then they're like, "What? It's stuck. I can't get it. It won't move."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a freak occurrence, and that.
But
is
in
totally
this case,
possible.
Wes, I mean, that wasn't the case here because Wes said, "I listened to you guys. You guys said once you untie it, just pull that weight out and pull that thing out." And that's what he did, but he did it so fast that the string and that little rope, it kind of wrapped itself around, and he ended up tying it into a knot, and it kind of. So, it was just an unfortunate bad luck, basically, of him trying to pull it out there like he was told to do, and it just happened to not back up, and he yanked so hard on it because he's got the big muscles. He just yanked it too tight. And then it was like he unknotted a knot, and then he had an even tighter knot now to try and undo.
Yeah. Right away, Banana sees this. He's like, God damn it. Fuck yeah, man. Like, he's so, like, it's just a sense of elation. He's like, he just knew somehow. That little bit of business with the knot. He's like, this is mine, motherfucker. Yep. And then he's like mooning Wes. So every time Wes comes up for a breath, he's probably seeing Banana's yellow ass.
But even as this was going on, I wasn't convinced that Wes was going to lose. Because it was kind of like that thing when Camilla couldn't make it up the rocks in the final.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like she was there and she was having a panic attack and crying. And then I'm like, I have no idea if this was just like 25 seconds or if it was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, how long was this thing occurring? Like, maybe Wes was like, oh no. And then he went up for air and then he went back under, couldn't get it. And then he went up for air and then went under and he got it. Or maybe it was 3 minutes of that.
Yeah. But, outside of that knot, again, great. Like, I was like, is that Phelps? Is that a pale version of, not a pale version, so to speak, but just like a lighter version of
a ginger
Phelps,
version.
Ginger version of Phelps. And then, Wes, there's no way he's going to get to the final because of personal issues, which is bullshit. I feel like Emily should be able to say, like, hey, well, maybe I want Wes to be in the final. Like, why is she just kind of, like, bowing down?
Okay, wait, who else do we have?
Michelle.
Okay.
I just want to say, well, Wes is not in the final. Overall, I'll just say this. Wes was great this season. It sucks that he's not going to be in the final. But to be fair, I guess he got to squeak into the final last season. Although he deserved it. I don't know. I'm just saying another good performance this season, right?
Yeah, Wes was great. It's great to have him back because he's only been on Champ vs. Stars and Champ vs. Pros lately. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was on Rivals 3, but he hasn't been on Invasion or Dirty 30
well, I feel
or
like he's been burned the last 2 times with no second elimination, Exile elimination in Battle of the X's 2, and then having Nani as a partner. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he should have had. Wait, who should have had?
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
Anybody else?
He should have. No, he should have had Camilla actually.
Camilla or Cara Maria.
Sure.
Pouring soda on her head.
Yes.
That was a huge epic moment. They should have given Wes a decent partner now.
Oh yeah. Anyways, there goes Wes. Michelle, she's a finalist. She kicks ass.
Yeah, she was looking like Wes women. She was just like a dolphin under there.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm like, no, Michelle's going to be so in shape. It doesn't really matter what.
Okay. Like, when you're watching, the entire time when you're watching, you're just like, oh my god, Michelle is just the hottest chick ever.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's just the fact that I watch UFC and I see her, like, fight, like, cage fight and shit like that.
Yeah.
But, like, Michelle's so fucking awesome. And, like, when they show the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that she had a daughter. Yeah. Didn't know she had a husband. I felt a little misled. Come on, Michelle. I was a little sad. But, she has a happy, nice little family. Like, Michelle is just so likable in every way possible. I'm rooting for her to win in this final.
Yeah.
Like, hands down, she's the number one person I'm rooting for.
She's so likable. And I also want her marriage to be good too. That's how likable she is. I'm like, you know what?
But if it ends up rocky, I'm one phone call away. Come on, Michelle.
Yeah. Try and get a hold of a podcast that peaks at about 30
Leave
views
a comment. I'll text you my number.
But Michelle, I feel the same way. Like, I love Michelle. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, she's fucking hot. And finally, UFC, my favorite thing of all time,
meets the
challenge. And not only that, she was an elimination. She defeated Anissa. Go fuck Anissa. You know how I feel about her.
Yeah.
And now she's in a goddamn final against Emily. Against Bananas.
Bananas.
This is amazing.
If she can take down Bananas?
Oh my god.
Michelle Waterson would be like on the Mount Rushmore of Vince's heroes.
Oh, yes. She's in the final. I just have to say, oh my god, she lost her fight against Tisha Torres, didn't she?
Yeah, but that's because Michelle is like a natural atom weight, like a 105er, and Tisha Torres is the biggest strawweight in the division.
Yeah.
Like, it was, so she got out-muscled by a chick that weighed like 15 pounds more than her. Yeah. That was unfortunate.
I just wanted to say to Michelle, I'm like, hey, even after that defeat, even after it, I'm just like, no, I'm gonna still watch you in your next fight. I'm gonna watch you on this challenge. Nothing changes at all. You know, you're great.
She's got a fight rumored, and I don't remember who she's gonna fight though.
Yeah. Well, then why even bring it up, really?
Well, it's like Google it right now.
All right. Well, while you Google that, we're going to talk about the last pairing. Ariane versus CT. Ariane snooze. Like, she couldn't swim. And then after the fact, where they're like, why should anyone be allowed to the final? She's like, I shouldn't be. In fact, I don't even know why I'm on this show. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something to say, like, hey, at least she was honest. At least she was like, hey, I'm not the best on this team. But at the same time, you're like, imagine her charity where they're like, Ariane, why didn't you at least try? I have no idea what her charity is.
I don't know either. But I am a big pro wrestling fan, and I've seen her in wrestling, and I always despised her, and I hated her. I've seen her on Total Divas. I despised her.
So she was on Total Divas.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And on this season, Ariane was fucking awesome, I thought. I wish I could have seen her and Corey's romance a little bit more.
Oh, I forgot about that.
She was very nice and likable. She was always that person who wasn't in the alliance, you know, trying to do the best she can. She's not the greatest competitor ever, but she's a very likable person. And she's very honest with stuff. You know, she did terrible in the swimming part. She wasn't that good at it. And she owned up to it. She's like, you know what? I didn't do great. I probably shouldn't be in the final. I can't really...
Ariane, we desperately need medicine and funding.
Yeah, I wonder. What is her charity?
I hope it's a charity that involves a lot of coughs.
I have to ask you, is this called Champs vs. Pros or Stars?
Champs vs. Stars.
At this point. Stars. In other news, Michelle Waterson is rumored to be in a fight against Felice Herrig.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
wow.
Which is a very interesting fight. They're both, Felice is coming off 2 or 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, she defeated Alexa or whatever. So, yeah, and Felice, she's been around for a long time. We're losing our challenge audience by talking about the
Ariane, her charity is called Black Girls Rock.
Alright, so they could be coughing.
I don't know what that means. But, like, Kim is, like, Covenant House. There's a lot of charities that have weird names that we don't really know what they mean.
Not mainstream charities, like fucking Red Cross.
Yeah, Terrell Owens had KY Cares Foundation. I don't know if that has anything to do with the lubrication, but it might.
Slide it in. Anyways, Ariane. She is a no talks on the finals. She doesn't even want to get to the finals. She gives a big speech about like how she does not deserve to be in there. So that's the end of her. Yeah, sure, she had some nice moments.
I thought it was very commendable of her to just admit that she did not perform well, because The Miz asked her, like, you know, why do you deserve to be in this final? And she's like, well, she's going against Kim and Justina, who absolutely just destroyed this, and she's supposed to be like, no, I deserve to go. And like anything she says is gonna come off as phony. She's like, I'm just gonna be honest about it. Like I didn't do that well.
All right. Well, that's the end of her, though. I mean, she's not.
Yep. So that's basically
CT.
Yeah.
She was against CT.
Oh yeah.
CT, of course. Despite looking like rocking the dad bod, swims second to fastest. Well, it sucks for Wes. Who knows what could have happened, but he swims almost as fast as Johnny, and he is Johnny Bananas' finalist nominee. Between Zach and CT, if we're really not going to have Wes there, it's a no-brainer for me. It's CT.
I would pick CT over Wes anyways.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what Emily's deal is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, because Emily is a fitness freak, and to be as strong as she is, she's in the gym every day for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So she's looking at big muscly dudes, and she sees Zach, who's another gym rat.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's more in a challenge than just lifting weights.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that eventually Bananas wins out. I don't know. It'd be interesting if somehow Emily's like, listen, this ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be Zach. That'd be interesting. So, well, that was the end of the episode. I just want to end this now, basically.
Yeah, all right. Stick a fork in it. It's done.
Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
and Famous Dave.